I'd like to open the Administrative Services Committee meeting. Please call the roll.
Counselor Corradino.
Here.
Counselor Van Buren. Here. Counselor Reynolds.
Here.
Counselor Walker.
Here.
Counselor Emmons.
Here.
I'd like a motion to approve the minutes of the October 17th, 2016 committee meeting.
Make a motion. Second.
Second.
Counselor Corradino.
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren.
Here.
Counselor Reynolds.
Yes.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Emmons.
Yes.
Under old business, is there any old business to discuss? Seeing none. Going on to new business under authorization. Item number 1, Mayor Barlow received correspondence from Ellen Clark requesting authorization to place 10 illuminated hearts on the Bridge Street Bridge for the month of February. Ellen is requesting the traffic department to place the hearts on the bridge. The last request is that the insurance will be provided through the city of Oswego as per attachment from last year. Is Ms. Clark here?
Hello. Did everybody get the sheet that I submitted?
I believe so. Yeah. Is there anything you want to add to that?
No. If you have any questions, I can answer them.
Any questions?
I'd make a motion because I loved it last year.
Second, agree.
They are actually going to be a little bit bigger and better this year.
There you go.
So,
Very good.
Thank you.
you're welcome. And just wanted to add that it's my birthday today, and I didn't have time to bake cupcakes for all of you, but I have a whole bag full of chocolate kisses
Happy birthday.
to hand out for my birthday.
Well, happy birthday.
So,
Happy birthday from the council, and
Happy
we'll take your
birthday.
kisses anytime.
okay.
Did I hear a motion?
Yes, I made a motion.
Second.
Counselor Corradino.
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren.
Yeah.
Counselor Reynolds.
Yes.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Emmons.
Yes.
And we need a resolution.
We need a resolution? Okay, we'll have somebody do it. Item number 2, Rita Tickle, Personnel Director, requests authorization from Mayor Barlow to sign an agreement with Oswego County for weights and measures services as the current agreement expires December 31st, 2016. Ms. Tickle here?
Mr. Chairman, this is the agreement that we've had with the county since the mid-'90s. They provide the weights and measures for us. We used to have a full-time employee doing it. County took it over in the mid-'90s. They've had very few increases during that time, and we don't have to pay an employee or the benefits. 1-year extension of the contract, 1-year contract.
Thank you. Any questions?
Can we go more than 1 year?
Actually, Council, they've held the price the past couple of years and have offered 1-year contracts. I can ask. I just don't know if they would do a multiple year without an increase. They didn't increase it last year either. Would you like me to ask before the meeting next week?
Yeah, be nice to know.
Okay.
Thank
All right, I can do that.
Any other questions?
I'd make a motion on that.
Second.
Counselor Corradino.
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren. Counselor Reynolds.
Yes.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Emmons.
Yes.
Item number 3, Michael Riley, purchasing agent, states the agreement with Butler Disposal Systems Incorporated to pick up and dispose of trash and recyclable materials from all city-owned facilities in various street locations expires December 31st, 2016. The agreement can be extended for 1 additional year upon mutual consent of both parties. Mr. Riley?
Yes, sir.
Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Riley at this point? We all got the information in the packet. It was pretty self-explanatory, I guess. Thank you.
Make a motion.
Second.
Second.
Counselor Corradino.
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren.
Yes.
Counselor Reynolds.
Yes.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Emmons.
Yes.
Item number 4, Michael Riley, purchasing agent, requests authorization for bids that were received for the ESWWTP dechlorination system upgrade, and the following contractors represent the lowest bids. General contractor M.A. Von Giovanni, Incorporated, $491,300. Scriba Electric, for the electrical contracting bid, $87,321. Plumbing contractor bid, Oswego Mechanical at $23,800, and the HVAC contractor bid of J&A Mechanical Contractors at $17,600. there any questions for Mr. Riley?
Low bids, right?
A little bit. I don't know if I explained it in the communication. The city did apply for a grant on this project, the WQIP grant. We haven't heard at this point as to whether or not we're going to receive the grant. So I guess we're planning right now to do a bond anticipation note and see where we go.
Okay. Thank you.
I'd make a motion.
Counselor Corradino.
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren.
Yes.
Counselor Reynolds.
Yes.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Emmons.
Yes.
Item number 5, Michael Riley, purchasing agent, request authorization for state bids that were received for the dewatering equipment replacement project at the ESWWTP, and the low bid for general construction was submitted by John R. Dudley Construction Incorporated in the amount of $1,189,000, and the low bid for electrical construction was submitted by Scriba Electric Incorporated in the amount of $97,321. Mr. Riley?
These are not state bids. These are city bids, so I don't know what the state bids get right now. This project is required under the consent order for these wastewater treatment plant. The project, we did apply to EFC for funding on this project. Unfortunately, it did not score high enough on the IEP, so we won't be receiving any funding through EFC. We'll be doing a bond anticipation of this project also.
Thank you. Any questions from the council? Can I have a motion?
Second.
Counselor Corradino.
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren.
Yes.
Counselor Reynolds.
Yes.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Emmons.
Yes.
Item number 6, Michael Riley, purchasing agent, request authorization for bids that were received for a used 80-foot self-propelled boom lift, and the low bid was submitted by Skyworks LLC in the amount of $28,000 for a 2005 boom lift. Mr. Kells, DPW Commissioner, has reviewed the bids and recommends awarding the bid to Skyworks LLC. We all got the information in our packet. Seems to be pretty obvious what we're looking at. Is Mr. Kells here? Mr. Kells, just a quick question. This is a 2005 model for $28,000. Did you happen to look at the 2016, what the cost was?
Sure have. They're about $160,000 for the new one.
160.
The amount we need it. These are a great piece of equipment, and a lot easier to get $28,000 than $160,000.
That's a true statement. Chair, you did rent it for a few months. What was the price of renting that?
The machine is right outside here. It's $3,600 a month. As you guys all know, we've got a lot of maintenance on these buildings to do, long past due. $28,000 versus $3,600 a month. It's not going to take long to pass that.
Well, Commissioner, I would like to commend you on this particular item. I see no need to spend over $100,000 for a piece of equipment that we don't use every day, but is a necessary item. So going the used route, I think, is the best course of action here. So I commend you for being frugal. Thank you. Any questions, comments? How about a motion? Oh,
Yeah, one question.
one more?
What's the warranty with it?
As, just like anything else, used piece of equipment, hoses, stuff like that, they will certify for 1 year. But, the motor blows next week. This company I've worked with in the past, they're a great company, but you're buying a used piece of equipment.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions?
I'll make
Seeing
a
none?
motion.
Counselor Corradino.
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren.
Yes.
Counselor Reynolds. Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Emmons.
Yes.
Item number 7, Michael Riley, purchasing agent, requests authorization for bids received for a new 25-ton gooseneck paver trailer. A low bid was submitted by Carolina Trailers in the amount of $28,050. Mr. Kells, DPW Commissioner, has reviewed the bids and recommends awarding the bid to Carolina Trailers. Any questions from the councilors on this?
One quick one.
Yes, Councilor.
You do have the money in your budget for this year to cover these costs for these, correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
One other question. Are you replacing a trailer that you had and is no longer usable, or is this a new piece of equipment that you need?
This is a new piece of equipment. In the past, we've had to literally drive the paving machine. We haven't owned a lift like this, but we would have to drive it across town to get from point A to point B. It's not good for the piece of equipment. This will allow us to do that more efficiently.
Okay. Any other? Seeing none?
I'll make a motion.
Counselor Corodino?
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren?
Yes.
Counselor Reynolds? Counselor Walker?
Yes.
Counselor Emmons?
Yes.
Item number 8, Engineering Department requests approval for change order number 4 for the general construction contract with John R. Dudley Construction Company for the Charles E. Riley Booster Pump Station in the amount of $113,884.97. Do we have any questions or comments on this from the council?
Make a motion.
Counselor Corodino?
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren?
Yes.
Counselor Reynolds?
Yes.
Counselor Walker?
Yes.
Counselor Emmons?
Yes.
Under transfer of funds, item number 9, Carolyn Anderson, Animal Control Officer, requests permission for an intra-department transfer of $5,000 from the Animal Control Equipment account, .0200 account for the Animal Control Contracted Services account to .0450 to cover the cost of veterinarian services for the shelter animals and trapping services for the City of Oswego residents for the remainder of the 2016 calendar year.
Hi, good evening, councilors. Yeah, we had a higher than expected demand for trapping services this year. Sean O'Gorman was quite busy. We actually, he trapped over a 107-day period and removed a total of 128 nuisance wildlife from the city, 64 of which were skunks. So that's kind of good for our residents. It's just moving out brown money that's in my budget already. The veterinary services are still continuing. We have the vet come once a week for the winter months. And just so you are all aware, we have actually done 225 spay-neuter surgeries at the shelter thus far this year, and additional other 7 miscellaneous surgeries like lump removal. The veterinarian fixed a broken leg, and they've been doing some teeth scaling. So we've done quite a few of the spay-neuter sterilization surgeries that we wanted to get done. So we have a pretty much 100% spay-neuter rate right now at the animal shelter, which is helping cut down on overpopulation with the animals in the city and elsewhere in the county.
Thank you. Any questions? Seeing none, I have a motion.
Make a motion.
Counselor Corodino?
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren?
Yes.
Counselor Reynolds?
Yes.
Counselor Walker?
Yes.
Counselor Emmons?
Yes.
Item number 10, Carolyn Anderson, Animal Control Officer, requests permission for an intra-department transfer of $4,500 from the contingent account A.1990.0460 to the Animal Control Personnel Services -overtime account A.3510.0102 account to cover overtime cost for the animal control staff.
I apologize, there was actually a typo with this. It's not an intra-department transfer. I threw it in really fast and missed that. It's transfer from the contingency funds to the animal control department budget. We've had a very busy year. We've taken actually close to 900 animals so far this year we've handled or released or whatever thus far, and we still have a couple more months to go. It's just been extremely busy, way busier than past years. I think it has to do with the hot summer that we had, the mild winter. Wildlife calls were quite outrageous this year, so it's just to get us through to the new year to cover the rest of the overtime cost for the staff, which we're keeping to a minimum, but it is holiday season, so we have some staff taking time off for vacation days they have to use by the end of the year and things like that.
Would you say that you've already gone through a busy time for your
Yes,
department?
absolutely.
So the next 3 months,
Should be quieter.
2 months really?
Yeah, it's already slowing down. It's just, we have to make it through. So,
Any questions?
Counselor Corradino?
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren?
Yes.
Counselor Reynolds?
Yes.
Counselor Walker?
Yes.
Counselor Emmons?
Yes.
Okay. Item number 11. Jeffrey McRobey is requesting an intra-department transfer for the following accounts. $15,000 from account A, 34100411 to account A, 34100102. $10,000 from account A, 34100460 to account A, 34100102. $5,000 from account A, 34100440 to account A, 34100470. $1,300 from account A, 34100480 to account A, 34100470. $4,000 from account A, 34100410 to account A, 34100470. And finally, $15,000 from account A, 34100411 to account A, 34100470, for a total of $50,300. These transfers are to cover overtime expenses and miscellaneous repairs. Chief?
Thank you. The $25,000 would be going to the overtime account, and the $25,300 would be going to the vehicle maintenance. It's late in the year, and both of those accounts are running low, so I'm trying to move it out of accounts that we have a little bit of a surplus in for the reasons that I stated in that lengthy email that I sent all of you guys. I received some correspondence back from a couple of you. I talked to a couple of you. We're obviously running with less people. We've lost 10 people since the beginning of August. And I plan on just doing business as we've been doing it the last 2 months, with operating with 7 people on shift. As you know, the overtime is less than it has been in the past. Actually less than since the last 5 or 6 years. It's gone down every year. So it's to cover these people. We're in transition, getting ready for next year, and we've lost some people much sooner than we thought, much to their good luck. So just looking to move that money over from within my department.
Questions? I'd like to say, thank you for reaching out to the council last week and providing additional information and explanation on what you were doing and how you were doing it and the reasons why. That certainly helps us make an informed decision. Any other questions?
Make a motion.
Second.
Counselor Corradino?
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren?
Yes.
Counselor Reynolds?
Yes.
Counselor Walker?
Yes.
Counselor Emmons?
Yes.
Thank you.
Under discussion, item number 12. Mayor William J. Barlow, Jr. requests discussion on a proposed agreement between the City of Oswego and the Oswego City School District with regard to the school resource officer. This agreement will cover the period September 1st, 2016 through June 30th, 2017. Is there anyone here that would speak to this?
Chief.
Here's the chief.
Thank you, Chairman. This is just a continuation of what we have done in the past. It actually started in September. We're just a little bit behind the 8 ball, and this is just authorization for the mayor to sign the same agreement. What the school district does is they reimburse us salary and benefits for the for a replacement officer for the 10 months that we have an officer assigned to the school district.
We cut and dry. What happens to that officer during the summer?
They come back to the police department and work a special assignment. They're actually the juvenile officer, so they conduct their officer duties then, usually using time up, so there's not really a lot of time there, but they are still employed with our department.
Is it one officer all the time that's scheduled there, or do you rotate officers? How's that work?
Nope, it's one officer who's dedicated, specially trained in juvenile investigations, and they also have to go to a special school resource officer course, and then they get assigned to the district.
Very good. Any other comments? None?
Counselor Corradino.
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren.
Yes.
Counselor Reynolds.
Yes.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Emmons.
Yes.
Item number 13, Deborah Code, City Chamberlain, requests discussion regarding 2016 year-end procedures. Mrs. Code?
Thank you, Chairman. This is the housekeeping resolution that I request every year, so that if there's transfers and the like that need to be done, and there's no more meetings at the end of the year, I have permission to make the budget balance.
Any questions from the council?
Make a motion. Second.
Counselor Corradino.
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren.
Yes.
Counselor Reynolds. Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Emmons.
Yes.
Item number 14, Deborah Code, City Chamberlain, requests discussion regarding the City of Oswego cash management. Mrs. Code?
Thank you, Counselor. We have an investment policy that hadn't been updated since 2004, and with the recent change in depositories, we needed to update that as well as update the limits, since we have a consent decree, and at any given time, we may be collecting several taxes, and we need the limits to increase just so that what we have on the books agrees with our investment policy. And at the same time, I reviewed the cash policies that we have, and over several years, there's been resolutions for whatever the request was, petty cash or things of that nature. So we never had an online banking policy, so I put them all together into one policy, so they're all in one place, and all the department heads will understand, and the council are going forward, any new people.
Thank you. Any comments, questions? Seeing none, may I have a motion?
Second.
Counselor Corradino.
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren.
Yes.
Counselor Reynolds.
Yes.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Emmons.
Yes.
Under executive session, item number 15, Thomas A. Reynolds, Assistant City Attorney, requests an executive session regarding the proposed acquisition, sale, or lease of real property, or the proposed acquisition of securities, or sale or exchange of securities held by such public body, but only when publicity would substantially affect the value thereof. Specifically regarding the sale of tax foreclosed properties located at 2660 and 2664 Johnson Road.
Mr. Chairman, I suggest that we put this to the end of the last committee meeting, just so we don't close the meeting
Sounds like a great idea. Any council?
I agree.
Okay. We all good with that? All right. We're going to keep that to the end of tonight's meetings. At this point, that brings us to the end of the Administrative Services Committee. Are there any other old business or comments?
We just adjourn it now and we go to committee and then we'll just leave, when we're done, we come back and we're going to bring it back to session anyway. Take the vote, so we're going to go and we go to the meeting and so.
Oh, you mean both can go into executive session?
Right.
And then we'll do the other committees first.
Right.
Recess until.
Yeah. Just procedurally, it gets it out of the way and then we can just.
All right, then
Right.
I need a motion to enter into executive session then.
Make a motion.
Second.
Counselor Corradino.
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren.
Yes.
Counselor Reynolds.
Yes.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Emmons.
Yes.
Thank you. At this point, that closes the Administrative Services Committee meeting.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair. And then the record should just reflect that you're recessing the executive session until the end of the full committee meetings.
Recessing the Administrative Services Committee till the end of tonight's proceedings.
There you go.
Thank you for your attention.
All right, this time I'd like to call the Fiscal Services Committee to order. Please call the roll.
Counselor Van Buren.
Here.
Counselor Emmons.
Yes.
Counselor Gozick. Counselor McLaughlin.
Here. Get a motion to approve the October 17th, 2016 committee meeting.
Make a motion.
Second.
Counselor Van Buren.
Yes.
Counselor Emmons.
Yes.
Counselor Gozick. Counselor McLaughlin.
Yes. Number one, under old business, I have the engineering department states Mr. Eugene Frost, owner of property at 109 West Seneca Street, located in the first ward, requests the use of public space 10 foot by 19 foot for one-car parking fronting West Seneca Street. Ross has already paved the area and asphalt prior to requesting the use of public space. We respectfully recommend that this area be returned to green space. Mr. Ross, I know we've heard this several times. The committee, I believe, is in agreement that we'd like to see this return to green space. So just to save the time, I'm going to call the vote now. So if I have a motion in a second.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Counselor Van Buren.
No.
Counselor Emmons.
No.
Counselor Gozick.
No.
Counselor McLaughlin.
No.
So you guys don't want to hear anything about what my thoughts were? You just want to make a decision on whatever you want to decide on?
Yeah, we've heard this several times.
You've heard news. This is the first time I've been given a chance to even speak about it.
We've had this discussion with our representative in the engineering department.
Okay, you made your case.
Thank you. Moving on to item number 1 under new business, authorization. The engineering department forwarded a request for a landfill permit submitted by Farmington Lawn Care, Inc. in order to landfill 500 feet of property they own at 276 State Route 104 as shown on the attached site plan. Attached.
This is for Country Max, so that they can get started on doing some site work preliminarily. So in the spring, that they can get in, start early on the construction of their project.
Any questions or comments?
Make a motion.
Second.
Counselor Van Buren.
Yes.
Counselor Emmons.
Yes.
Counselor Gozick.
Yes.
Counselor McLaughlin.
Yes.
Item number 2, Thomas Cowles, DPW Commissioner, received a request from Mary Gozick, Tim Simmons, and Chris Hesse, representing Peaceful Remedies for use of office space at the McRobey Building to be more effectively reached out to the community, which it hopes to serve. Peaceful Remedies is a volunteer-run organization that offers support groups, speakers, and therapeutic intervention, and a lending library to individuals who are diagnosed with life-altering health issues. The office space to be utilized by Peaceful Remedies on a regular basis would be the former waterfront. Mary Gozick's here to speak to that, so I'm going to turn it over to her if she has any questions.
Hi, Mary. Do you want me to tell you more than what you just heard, or? We're a not-for-profit, and we bring what I consider peaceful therapies, therapeutic interventions to people that have life-altering diseases in their plus ones. We've been working outside of our house for 18 months now, and we're looking for a physical space that will bring more awareness to what we do and actually allow people the opportunity to find us. They could share in our lending library that now is mobile. You know, it's not as good as it would be. So I guess that's what we're looking for, just more awareness, more physical, you know, a real physical space for people to find us.
Any questions or comments?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Counselor Van Buren.
Yes.
Counselor Emmons.
Yes.
Counselor Gozick.
Abstain.
Counselor McLaughlin.
Yes.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Item number 3, Thomas Cowles, DPW Commissioner, received a request from Susan McCurdy on behalf of the Oswego Bookmobile and Friends of the Library to place sandwich board signs at various locations to notify the community of a pancake breakfast they are holding on Sunday, February 19th, 2017. The signs will be placed at each location starting Sunday, February 12th, 2017, and ending Sunday, February 19th, 2017. I think it's pretty straightforward. Anyone have any questions or comments?
Make a motion.
Second.
Counselor Van Buren.
Yes.
Counselor Emmons.
Yes.
Counselor Gozick.
Yes.
Counselor McLaughlin.
Yes.
Item number 4, Kevin Caracoli, City Attorney, requests consideration from the Common Council to receive a gift of real property from the estate of Bernard Shapiro, who died and possessed 2 parcels of real estate located in the 2nd Ward, 136 12th Street, and 159 East Uterson. David Shapiro is the son of Bernard and has offered these lots to the City of Oswego for $1 million. The properties are unique, they often contiguous to one another, and together comprise over 1 acre of residential land that could be available for sale.
Thank you. So we received this offer from the family of Bernard Shapiro. He and his family own two parcels. They are contiguous, and as indicated, make up a decent-sized lot in the city of Oswego. It's essentially across from the former DPW, county DPW garage. It was when I was this high and working for them. But so it's over on West or East Seneca Street, 12th and Cayuga, that neighborhood. There's not a whole lot more I can tell you about it other than it was offered at no charge. They're not asking for any consideration. It's a gift. However, we would be responsible for any of the title work and deed preparation and things of that nature. Now, the deed preparation, that's the easy part. These properties have been held in the Shapiro family since 1948 and 1971. And as Eric can attest to, they don't have title searches that are up to date. So the last time any title was run on these properties was many, many years ago. So as you can expect, if to go back that far and to bring the title up to present, it's going to take a little bit of research and investigating. And the quote that I received from the local title company was $950. Now, in the grand scheme of things, those are two properties. These are what are in effect stub searches. So it's not a full-blown search. They don't go searching the entire history of the property, but they bring it from 1948 and 1971, respectively, up to the present. So they'll uncover whether there are any title defects, any judgments against the family, any liens, or anything else that we need to know about. Now, in talking with the son, Mr. Shapiro, seems to indicate that the properties are clean. They probably are, but I can't tell you that. I don't know for certain without running one of these title stub searches. Total cost would be about $950, though, to do that. So if they come back and that money is well spent if it's a clean property, and we take title to essentially, like I said, a little over an acre property in the city of Oswego that is vacant and subject to development. So unless there's any questions, I guess it's up to you then to decide what you want to do.
Say we do this, are we able to sell that foreclosed properties with that? Would we be able to?
Absolutely. It's your property. You can then dispose of it, in a manner that you feel is appropriate. It's not necessarily foreclosed, but it would be akin to that process. You can put it up for sale. You can list it with a realtor. You could hold a public auction. You could do a number of things. I don't know that there's necessarily a city function for this property, but it's smack dab in the middle of a residential neighborhood, so it certainly could be valuable to somebody.
I just didn't know if there would be a clause on it, we must keep it like we did.
That's a great question, and that's one that I asked Mr. Shapiro, and he said, no strings attached. We're just trying to get rid of property that we have no use for.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments?
Make a motion.
Second.
Counselor Van Buren?
Yes.
Counselor Emmons?
Yes.
Counselor Gozick?
Yes.
Counselor McLaughlin?
Yes.
Order number 5, Senator Foley, City Attorney requests consideration from the Common Council to modify the mortgage extension and modification agreement entered into between the City of Oswego and CCL Properties LLC for the property located at 305 East Seneca Street, City of Oswego.
Okay. So the owner of PCL Properties, Mr. Holbrook, had requested consideration of a extension of the current mortgage. This is a property that was sold to PCL Properties back in, I believe it was 2012. There was a mortgage that was due and payable at the end, or actually the beginning of September of this year, 2016. Company has made regular payments right along. They're current on their mortgage payments, but it is a balloon payment, and he's simply asking for additional time to make that balloon payment. Proposing that the terms continue as they are, and it's essentially interest payments. So we're making interest at a rate of 6% on this mortgage that we're holding. So ultimately up to you. I know he met with myself and the mayor. We didn't necessarily see a downside to this. Not sure that we have, and we do have the ability, we, the city of Oswego, to utilize portions of that property. To my knowledge, we haven't been utilizing it. I think we did for a period of time, but I'm not sure that we are currently. So I guess I'll answer questions, but unless there's a strong public need or desire to have that property back, because that would be the other alternative. He can't make the payment, he's in default of the loan and mortgage. We'd then have the right to foreclose, but there's a process and cost involved in that as well.
Questions or comments? How long would the extension be?
The proposed extension is for 24 months, 2 years. So it would be due and retro to September. So September 1st of 2018 would be the proposed extension date.
Well, my first inclination here was that, I don't know why we have to cut him some slack. I mean, he signed a contract, but I understand your point that, what would we do with the property? And to be honest with you, if he's current on his taxes and all the other payments and he's paying 6% interest, I mean, you can't get that kind of return on investment in anything in today's market. So I think it's a good deal for the city to go with this and take the 6% interest, because you're lucky if you can get 1 to 3% interest anywhere else. So it's not the best scenario that I think of, but I would support this at a full council.
Any other questions or comments? Make a motion.
Second?
Counselor Van Buren. Yes. Counselor Emmons.
Yes.
Counselor Goza.
Yes.
Counselor McLaughlin.
Yes.
And we need a resolution.
Is there any other business to come before this committee? Seeing none, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Counselor Van Buren.
Yes.
Counselor Emmons.
Yes.
Counselor Goza.
Yes.
Counselor McLaughlin.
Yes.
This time I'd like to call the Planning and Development Committee to order, please.
Counselor Walker.
Here.
Counselor Goza. Counselor Corradino.
Here.
Have a motion to approve the minutes for October 17, 2016.
Make a motion.
Second?
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Goza.
Yes.
Counselor Corradino.
Yes.
Okay. Under old business, we have item number 1, Councilor John Gozick, request discussion regarding the changes to the taxi cab ordinance. Turn this over to Councilor Gozick.
Again, I guess we could pick up where we left off. If you weren't here, I'm presenting an omnibus package of amendments to our taxi cab laws. Last committee meeting, that was 3 weeks ago because we had a week off in between there. I presented this, and just the brief background, it all started over livery cabs, medical cabs coming to town, taking cash calls. We've realized there are a lot of unlicensed cabs out there. My biggest concern is public safety. Many of these amendments address that issue. For instance, setting minimum fines for owners, looking at setting higher fines as well, which hopefully would incentivize many of these rogue cab companies to license in the city. But the one, anyway, I can go back over all of them, but the big thing was we got hung up on the language concerning good moral character. And I can draw everyone's attention to this issue. We are at, excuse me, my packets are 228.4, and it's under section J. We had proposed to add in at the request of one of the local taxi cab owners, a clause looking at good moral character. After talking to the mayor, he had explained to me when we discussed it that this would, even though it's very general, and who's to be the arbiter of this, that it would give the city more teeth basically to revoke the license if necessary. So where we ended up at the end of the last discussion was we had it drawn to our attention that looking at this clause, good moral character, we came down to how could we define this, or should we define it? I know we have our city attorney, Kevin Caracoli, assistant city attorney, Tom Reynolds, who were influential in coming to the final product here. What we did was we met several times over the last few weeks. I met with Kevin and Tom recently this week, and what we came up with was a definition based on, correct me if I'm wrong, Kev, if you guys want to speak to it, you're welcome to, based on federal immigration guidelines, looking at how they define good moral character, and we came up with a definition. It's basically like a negative definition in the respect that it defines good moral character, looking at shall be the absence of involvement in the following activities. And then again, I don't know if the city attorneys would like to speak to the components here of that section, and also after section 228 for J1. Additionally, there's section 2 that, again, at the end, ultimately points out in so many words I can read it. In the event that the applicant has been involved in any of the criminal activities set forth in subsection J above, or other criminal activities affecting good moral character, finding of lack of good moral character shall be based upon the guidelines set forth in New York State Correction Law, Article 23A, Section 752, 753. So I'd hand it over to City Attorney Caracoli. I'd like to explain.
You did a great job, Counselor, but I will just put some fine points on it, and it's appropriate in this, on this day, the day before the election, that we stole the page from the United States immigration laws to define what good moral character is in the city of Oswego. But seriously, that because otherwise, and we all talked about it and debated it, what is good moral character, and who's the judge of it? In the absence of anything real clear in looking at it, we're drawing from federal law, and I think if it's good enough for the Immigration Service, it should be good enough for the city of Oswego. And as Councilor Gozick said, it's defined somewhat in the absence or the negative. So I think that, put it in one perspective, the law presumes that all applicants are of good moral character unless they fall under these certain categories. And they're pretty serious offenses: murder, rape, sexual abuse of a minor, illicit trafficking in controlled substances, firearms, explosive materials, money laundering, and the list goes on and on. And I think, again, you want to apply common sense. Those seem to be common sense criteria for excluding somebody from obtaining a permit to drive a taxi cab in the city of Oswego. And then keep in mind, the final arbiter of all of this ultimately is the chief of police who issues the permits to these applicants. So, and that's appropriate, because who other than the chief of police and the resources that they have can then determine if an individual has a record that would foreclose him or her from getting an application. So that's how we came about that definition. I don't know if Tom or Chief, if you have any other concerns or questions about it, but I think that at least gives us from the legal department some comfort that there's a definition. And I think that it is important that we have some excluding criteria, particularly from this type of activity. And I know that the city's been under some legal challenges in the past. Whether anybody takes us on over this definition or not, I guess, remains to be seen. But I feel comfortable being able to defend this definition, other than just leaving it somewhat vague and left to somebody else's definition of what a good moral character might be.
Very good. Thank you. Any other questions, comments on this?
I do, if it's possible. It's called New Cab There's one person that has been registered for the city, used to work for Lake City. One person that's registered, and on Friday night, I found 9 of their cabs driving around in the city, picking up calls, and there's one person can't make 9 of you. 9, all those other 8 have charges against them. If you were to check that out, have a police officer pull over one of those cabs, guaranteed they definitely get either thrown out of the city or arrested. I mean, they've got charges. None of them can get a license in the city, that's what I'm saying. A ton of people, if you ask people, they know. And there's other cabs coming from Syracuse called, 123 cab, that's what's one of them. Come from Syracuse just to pick up. I mean, they've got cards going all over the city and gas stations. Yeah, there's one person for New Cab that's registered, but you know what kind of car he drives is a Ford Band. It's the only one he ever drives, and you always see him in it. But we got 8 of their other cars driving around in the city, and if you get where I'm coming from, is if a police officer was to pull it over and check the license, I guaranteed all those 8 would be thrown out of the city.
Thank you for the
Yep.
input. Any other questions, comments on this? I think Mr. Gozick did a lot of his homework on it and did a very good job because we spearheaded this a few years back and really didn't come to our favor. But I think you did a good job and I commend you on this.
Thank you. I'd also like to, if I may, I'd like to commend, again, everybody who's involved. I appreciate the hard work on Assistant Attorney Tom Reynolds, Attorney Kevin Caracoli, especially Chief DeCare for all his valuable input in the process, and Bob Mills, who he left earlier because of his schedule and the way we switched the agenda around tonight. He would have been here tonight, but he gave a lot of time, and his expertise with 30 years in the cab service really helped to guide this legislation. I tried to be a conduit for these cab owners, so I appreciate the council listening, and if there's no further discussion, hopefully we can pass this through.
All right, no more questions. I look for a motion.
Take a motion.
Second.
Counselor Walker?
Yes.
Counselor Gozick?
Yes.
Counselor Corradino?
Yes.
And we need a resolution?
Thank you. All right, is there any more old business? Old business. We'll go back on to new business now. Kevin Caracoli, City Attorney, requests consideration from the Common Council to amend the City of Oswego foreclosed property disposition policy and procedure. Caracoli.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is a proposal that has come out of the most recent round of tax foreclosure proceedings. In discussing this with the mayor, right now, the way the policy reads, after the county forecloses on city-owned properties, and keep in mind that's a process that for a commercial property you have to be 2 years delinquent in taxes. For residential it's 3 years, so that's 2 or 3 years depending on the property of non-payment. Presumably the property owner knows they're not paying and hasn't made the payment. They then receive a notice from the county that they are subject to a foreclosure proceeding. Within that notice, the lawsuit, they're given up to approximately 6 months to redeem or pay the taxes before they lose the tax title to the property. And then they are still given an additional amount of time between the time they lose the property and the time that it's placed on the county's auction block to redeem the property. They're given up to 30 days prior to an auction. If it's not sold or it's pulled and the city pulls the property, doesn't want to have it in a public auction, it then comes to the city. At that point, the old policy that was established several years ago was to give property owners an additional 30 days to redeem their taxes in order to get the property back. If they do that, they get the property back. If they don't, then we have, in our process, our procedure, the ability to go out and sell the property, hold an auction, place it in the hands of a realtor. We have a number of different processes. In talking to the mayor about this, He believes that the additional 30-day period of time is frankly 30 days too much. That after years of delinquency, it gets down to the point of having the property lost completely after the property comes into the city's hands. Is time enough? It's then up to the city, you as the council, to then decide how to dispose of those properties. And again, you've set up a policy and a procedure to do that. We put it in the hands of a realtor. We advertise it for resale. And if there are no takers, we have the right to hold a public auction. We can do a number of different things, and we're constantly doing that. But by and large, the proposal tonight is to do away with that additional 30-day redemption period that the city has built in. I don't know exactly why it was done. I'm being told that it was done to give property owners just one final 30 days to redeem their properties. I can, in fairness, say that over this latest round, that the last day to redeem your properties in the city of Oswego was, I believe it was October 31st. And lo and behold, we did have a couple of people come in and pay right around that time frame. But we also had several properties that did not. So it's a way to speed up the disposition of the properties, and it's a proposal that the mayor supports, and I don't see a specific downside to it myself, but I'll be happy to answer any questions you have.
Personally, I think, what do they normally get? They're 3 or 4 years behind, then they get 6 months from the county?
At least that.
At least 6 months. I mean, if you're not going to pay it within the 6 months, I think it's tying it up in the city's hands personally. Any other questions, comments on this? Get a motion?
Make a motion.
Second.
Counselor Walker?
Yes.
Counselor Gozick?
Yes.
Counselor Corradino?
Yes. Any other new business come before this committee?
Thank you. I just want to apologize. I did not have time to prepare a communication. I just got done with a meeting with the land bank officers this afternoon. And as a result of that meeting, we had decided to apply for grant funding. So my role in this is I'm an officer of the Oswego County Land Bank Corporation, representing the city of Oswego and trying to look at vacant and dilapidated properties and trying to make a recommendation in terms of strategies of returning those properties back to productive use. So there's an opportunity right now for the Oswego County Land Bank Corporation to apply for $250,000 up to $1 million in grant funding through the latest round of the Bank Settlement Fund through the Attorney General's office. So one of the things that we'd like to do from a City of Oswego standpoint is to write a letter of support on behalf of the city for the land bank to support their application. And to make it a stronger letter of support, I would appreciate that to be approved in the form of a resolution. So I'm here to get approval from the committee to allow me to submit a resolution to approve the application submission for the land bank funding.
Very good, thank you. I think that'd be a nice idea for the city to do that. And do I have any opposed to that? I'd support that resolution, and you write it up, of course.
All right, thank you.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Counselor Walker?
Yes.
Counselor Gozick?
Yes.
Counselor Corradino?
Yes.
All right, any other new business for this committee? Adjourn.
Second.
Counselor Walker?
Yes.
Counselor Gozick?
Yes.
Counselor Corradino?
Yes.
And now we'll go to executive sessions for
Yeah, at this time, we'll
service.
go into executive session, going
All good? Okay.
Don't do that to her, it's all yes.
Yeah, really. Don't do that.
It's all coming up.
Thanks.
Gotta roll.